Good evening, and welcome to this wonderful celebration of the accomplishments of our colleagues in the American Society of Criminology. My name is Ruth Peterson, and I've had the wonderful privilege of serving as the 2016 president of ASC. I have enjoyed all aspects of the work, but perhaps the most fun has been getting to notify the recipients of having been selected for a particular award. For me, it's been like getting to have 20 private celebrations and then to throw a big party with lots of invited guests. And so I thank you all invited guests for showing up for the party. And I want to thank all of the awards committees and committee members for the hard work that they put into identifying, soliciting recommendations, and then helping us make choices about who should receive the awards. By tradition, our format is to hand out awards in the following order. First to our wonderful students, followed by the newer awards for established scholars, and ending with our longest standing awards. The awards presentations are ordinarily followed by the Sutherland Address, which is made by the year's recipient of that award. Regretfully, this year, we will not have the privilege of hearing the Sutherland Address. This is because this year's recipient is home recuperating from an illness that has plagued him for the past month. We will, of course, present the award to him in absentia, and he has asked his good friend and colleague, John Hagan, to receive the award on his behalf, and John will do so. But we will just not have the pleasure of hearing him. We will, of course, be able to read the Sutherland Address in criminology in a few months. The Sutherland Award recipient is Ross Matsueda, and for those of you who are wondering now about his health, I can tell you that I spoke with him on Saturday and that he was extremely energetic, ever the academic, ever the sociologist, and with his ever-present sense of humor intact. Indeed, in telling me about his health, he set the context by describing the organizational structure of the hospitals that he had been in, the status hierarchy of the medical staff, complete with descriptions of levels of silence maintained by people lower in the hierarchy, and the differential degree of respect that was shown to him in conversations with different types of medical personnel. The details in these descriptions were so thorough and so reminiscent of what I knew from courses in occupations and professions that midway through the conversation, I could not help but laugh. Now, Ross laughed with me, but then in the end, I threw up my hands when he described the nature of his ailment as stemming from a confluence of factors, noting 3 specific symptoms and suggesting that these involved a perfect 3-way interaction. I will not go on, but I can tell you as I was about to hang up the phone, he brought up the recent election, and we were off then on another discussion for half an hour. Of course, neither one of us found anything much to laugh about in that discussion. My point here is that Ross is recovering. He has lots of energy, so I look to him to continue to do well. I now want to start the presentation of the awards. Chris asked that I inform you not to take photos during the presentations, but that there will be opportunity for photos after. And I'm also to instruct you to come up on this side and go down on this side, the recipients. Our first awards are presented to recipients of the Ruth Peterson Fellowship for Racial and Ethnic Diversity. The Peterson Fellowship honors the work of students from racial and ethnic groups that are underrepresented in criminology and criminal justice by providing support that encourages their participation in the field and facilitates their degree completion. I'm very pleased that this year's honorees are already contributing important research findings and addressing unique and important questions about crime and justice. They also represent a variety of types of universities and departments. The first is Colleen Berriesa. They get money, not so. Colleen is a doctoral student in criminology at the University of Pennsylvania, where she is also pursuing a law degree. She is working with Adrienne Rain, and she relies on interviews and quantitative vignette-style experiments in exploring how the perceptions and decisions of criminal justice officials may be shaped by biosocial criminological research and research on biological influences on behavior. Congratulations, Colleen. The second is Crystalline Caraballo. Crystalline is a doctoral candidate in criminology and criminal justice in the Andrew Young School of Policy Studies at Georgia State University. She is working with Volkan Topali. Crystalline has a background in forensic psychology as well, and she has published on how distance shapes individuals' views of injustice and their motivation to engage in collective action. The research that she's working on currently focuses on polyvictimization of undocumented Latino immigrants from their vantage point, but also from the vantage point of active street offenders who might target them as undocumented immigrants. Congratulations, Christina. And the third winner of this award is John Navarro. John is a doctoral student in criminal justice at the University of Louisville in criminal justice. Prior to attending Louisville, he undertook master's studies at Illinois State University, where he wrote a thesis on how the residential location of registered sex offenders affect home sale prices. He is now working with Rick Tewksbury and further pursuing this idea. He will build on the master's thesis by examining for communities in 3 different types of places how race influences the impact of registered sex offender location on home prices. And neighborhood structure and community awareness are also important considerations in this project. Congratulations, John. The next group of recipients are for the Jean Carte Student Paper Award. It is a very special award that recognizes outstanding scholarly work of graduate and undergraduate students in our field. This year is unusual in that all of the recipients are from one university, and that is the University at Albany. So we also must commend Albany for doing a wonderful job of training and mentoring students to produce award-winning work very early on. The third place recipient of the Carte Award is Megan Denver. Megan joined the PhD program in the School of Criminal Justice at Albany after serving as a research associate at the Urban Institute. She works with Sean Bushway and Megan Kurlichek, and she is receiving the Carte Award for a paper entitled Evaluating the Impact of Old Criminal Conviction Decision Guidelines on Subsequent Employment and Arrest Outcome. This paper has been accepted for publication in the Journal of Research in Crime and Delinquency and adds to an already substantial publication record for Megan on a variety of topics. The second place winners are Dean Well and Sean Patrick Roche, or Roche, I'm not sure which. So are they here? Yeah, good. Dean earned a law degree from Drexel University in 2011 and is a PhD candidate in sociology at the University at Albany. He is also employed as a program research specialist for the New York State Division of Criminal Justice Services. His research interests focus on macro-level properties of nations and U.S. states associated with crime rates and public policy innovations. Patrick is a PhD student in the School of Criminal Justice at Albany, having received his master's degree from the Northeastern University School of Criminology and Criminal Justice. The paper for which Dean and Sean are being honored is entitled A Matter of Time, a partial test of institutional anomie theory using cross-national time use data. The paper has been accepted for publication at the Journal of Quantitative Criminology. And our first place winner is Eric Fowler from Albany. Eric is a PhD student in criminal justice at the University at Albany and is a crime analyst for the Burlington Police Department. One of Eric's interests is juvenile justice policy and practice, with particular interest to assessing the causal impacts of processing youth in adult versus juvenile criminal justice domains. Related to this interest, he is being honored with the Carte Award for his work examining the effects of raising the age of criminal responsibility on immediate and long-term criminal justice-related outcomes. The title of the paper is Drawing the Line: Empirical Recidivism Results from a Natural Experiment, Raising the Age of Criminal Responsibility. Congratulations, Eric. Next is the Teaching Award. ASC's Award for Outstanding Teaching is a lifetime achievement award designed to recognize excellence in undergraduate and or graduate teaching over the span of an academic career. This year's recipient is Lori Pampa. Obviously, Lori needs no introduction, but I have the words on paper, so I'll say them. She has taught approximately 125 courses, primarily in the area of corrections. She is an expert in hands-on experiential learning and civic engagement, and for several years she served as the director of Temple's College of Liberal Arts Office of Experiential Learning. These accomplishments in themselves probably merit her receiving the Teaching Award. However, she has taken teaching to another level and another population. Therefore, she is receiving the Teaching Award primarily because of her role as founder and director of the Inside Out Prison Exchange Program. This program involves facilitating semester-long college classes inside prison environments where students from the prison and from the university join together to learn and discuss issues related to correctional policies and reform. Just in the past 12 years, 700 college and university instructors from throughout the U.S. and 9 other countries have taken part in the Inside Out training program. Hundreds of Inside Out classes have been offered involving tens of thousands of inside, that is incarcerated, and outside campus-based students. By selecting Lori for the award, the committee, and through the society, asserts the value of teaching that engages multiple communities and moves beyond particular classroom settings to affect change.
Wow. I just want to say two things. Actually, one thing. I want to share this award with the hundreds of instructors throughout the United States and beyond, many of whom are here, and the thousands, tens of thousands of students who have taken part, both inside and outside students, in Inside Out. This has been a huge gift to me, to be able to do this and to be able to share what I have learned, and I have learned so much along the way. Thank you so much, and thank you to ASC.
Now we give the award to the Mentor of the Year. This award recognizes scholars who provide excellence in mentorship in the discipline of criminology and criminal justice over the span of an academic career. I'm excited to present this year's Mentor Award to Professor David Weisberg, As you know, David's mentoring has spanned students in multiple universities in 2 different parts of the world. He is a distinguished professor of criminology, law, and society at George Mason University. He also holds an appointment as the Walter E. Meyer Professor of Law and Criminal Justice at Hebrew University. David has an extensive record of mentoring and working with students. He has supervised students in 4 different institutions, and those students in turn have played major roles in advancing experimental work in policing and are getting awards of their own already. The breadth and depth of David's commitment to the students is indicated in a voluminous number of nomination letters for the award, in reference to him being like a trusted father, remaining excited about their successes over time, keeping us constantly motivated to continue producing. They also reference his commitment to them beyond the university, his generosity with his time, and development of students not only as competent researchers and respected colleagues, but as good people in general. And David has received lots of awards from ASC and other places, but he considers this mentoring award to be special, not only because it indicates his dedication to the students, but also because he feels that his work might not have gone as far had he not had the opportunity to work with all those bright students. Congratulations. Next is the Ruth Shanley Cavan Award. It's a Young Scholar Award that recognizes outstanding scholarly contributions to the discipline of criminology by someone who has received his or her graduate or similar degree within the past 5 years. This year's recipient is David Peruz of the University of Colorado Boulder. David? David is an assistant professor of sociology and faculty associate of problem behavior and positive youth development at the Institute of Behavioral Science at Boulder at Colorado. His research has focused primarily on gangs and criminal networks. It lies on the forefront of gang desistance. Oh, that's great. They want to be with you. Using life course theories to better understand both the problems faced by gang members when they try to get out of the gang and the long-term impact of gang membership on employment, education, and marriage. His work contributes to both applied and theoretical criminology, and his current work is he's undertaking a longitudinal study examining the interrelationships between street and prison gangs and offender reentry in Texas, as well as conducting a mixed methods comparative project on the differences and similarities between gangs and extremist groups. The Cavan Award Committee concluded that David is changing the way scholars think about gang membership and its social consequences. Congratulations. Next is the Outstanding Article Award. ASC's Outstanding Article Award honors exceptional contributions made by scholars in article form. This year's recipient is Sarah Brain of the University of Texas. Yeah, that's what I thought. Sarah is an assistant professor of sociology. Her research interest includes surveillance, policing, stratification, and reflecting these interests, Sarah is being honored for her 2014 article, Surveillance and System Avoidance, Criminal Justice Contact and Institutional Attachment, which was published in the American Sociological Review. In this article, Sarah tested the hypothesis that individuals who have had contact with the criminal justice system avoid certain social institutions in order to evade criminal justice contact. Her results indicate that compared to individuals who have not had criminal justice contact, people who have been stopped by police, arrested, convicted, or incarcerated are less likely to interact with surveilling institutions like medical, financial, labor market, and educational institutions, but not civic or religious organizations. The committee notes that this article is outstanding in part because it builds on a solid foundation of ethnographic work that documents an increase in the magnitude of police surveillance, and in part because it provides an excellent example of how an important hypothesis can be tested using existing data sources. The article promises to contribute to debate about the consequences of increased surveillance in our society. The Michael J. Hindelang Book Award recognizes a book published within the last 3 calendar years, that is 13, 14, and 15, that is adjudged to make the most outstanding contribution to research in criminology. This year's recipient is Dr. Jamie Fader. Jamie is an assistant professor of criminal justice at Temple University. She is being honored with the Hindelang Award for her 2013 book, Falling Back, Incarceration and Transitions to Adulthood for Urban Youth, Rutgers University Press. The book is based on over 3 years of ethnographic research with young Black and Latino males transitioning to adulthood and incarcerated at a reform school designed to address criminal thinking errors among juvenile drug offenders. She observed the young men as they returned to Philadelphia's neighborhoods and resumed daily lives and attempted to adopt their adult masculine roles. The committee was impressed with the depth and originality of the ethnography. The book portrays the complexities of human decision-making as these men strove to fall back, that is, avoid reoffending and become productive adults. It makes a unique contribution to sociological understandings of the transition to adulthood. It provides a novel critique of the criminal thinking era's paradigm in criminology, and has findings of interest to multiple literatures, including desistance, juvenile justice, urban street crime, and life course criminality. Congratulations. The title Fellow is given to members of ASC who have achieved distinction in criminology by making a scholarly contribution to the intellectual life of the discipline and making a significant contribution to the field through the career development of other criminologists or through organizational activities within the ASC. This year, we are pleased to be inducting 4 more of our distinguished colleagues as fellows. First is Eric Baumer. I know he's here. Eric is professor of sociology and criminology at Pennsylvania State University. He is, as you know, co-editor of Criminology and chair-elect of the Crime Law and Deviance section of the American Sociological Association. Prior to his appointment at Pennsylvania State, he was the Alan E. Liska Professor of Criminology and Criminal Justice at Florida State. Eric has made significant contributions to the field in the area of crime trends, crime reporting, punitive attitudes, and the application of social control, and lots more, actually. These contributions have shaped significantly the way others have gone on to research similar issues and has stimulated new avenues of related research. His service to ASC and the discipline are similarly distinct. It includes, of course, being co-editor of Criminology. He served as executive counselor for 3 years. He served as vice president of the society, as co-chair of the program committee in 2011. And besides contributions to the discipline, he's chairing as I said, the section on crime law deviance of the American Sociological Association, and serving as president of the Association for Criminology and Criminal Justice doctoral programs. In brief, Eric has distinguished himself through a record of important scholarly contributions while also playing a vital role in helping to guide ASC and the discipline. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Next is Michael Benson from the University of Cincinnati. Michael Benson is professor of criminal justice at the University of Cincinnati. He is a prolific scholar and writes on a diverse array of topics, including crime in the life course, intimate partner violence, with attention to how context matters, and most notably, white-collar crime. In this area, it is fair to say that he is a very preeminent scholar. Broadly speaking, Mike has embarked upon 3 lines of inquiry with respect to white-collar crime: the criminality of upper world offenders, the experience of white-collar offenders in the criminal justice system, and the prosecution of white-collar crime. Mike's contributions in each area are valuable in their own right, and taken together, the 3 set of contributions are quite remarkable. Beyond his scholarly contributions, he meets the standards for fellow staters in terms of contributions to ASC and to the discipline. He has served on ASC's executive board, program committee many times, chair of the Block Award Committee, the editorial board of criminology, and now the editorial board of the Division on Life Course Criminology's new Journal of Developmental and Life Course Research. As well, Mike has mentored numerous young scholars and will leave an enduring legacy on the field through his mentees. Anthony Braga is next. is Distinguished Professor and Director of the School of Criminology and Criminal Justice at Northeastern University. He previously held faculty and senior research positions at Rutgers University, where he was the Don Gottfredson Professor of Evidence-Based Criminology, and Harvard University, where he was Senior Research Fellow in the Program in Criminal Justice Policy and Management. Anthony's research involves collaborating with criminal justice, social service, and community-based organizations to address illegal access to firearms, reduce gang and group-involved violence, and control crime hotspots. His most significant criminological contributions have clustered in 3 areas of the field: preventing crime at problem places that we call hotspots, where he conducts randomized field experiments to test policing interventions; controlling gang and criminal group violence, which has involved controlled evaluations of different iterations of focused deterrence strategies; and reducing criminal access to firearms based on rigorous quasi-experimental evaluations. This work has provided important scholarly contributions, but as well, his criminological work has been recognized for its practical value in generating violence reduction impacts in disadvantaged urban neighborhoods. His work has led to a number of innovations in policy and interventions. Anthony's contributions to ASC and the profession are also numerous. Within ASC, he is a member of 3 divisions, has served on numerous program committees and on awards and standing committees as a liaison to the International Association of Chiefs of Police. He helped to establish the ASC Division on Policing, which is going very strong, and served as its inaugural vice chair and has contributed extensive service to the Division on Experimental Criminology. He's a past president and fellow of the Academy of Experimental Criminology as well. Thank you, Anthony, for your contribution.
Thank you so much.
And our final new fellow is Helene White of Rutgers. Helene is Distinguished Professor with appointments in the Center of Alcohol Studies and the Sociology Department. She also directs the Life Course Research Laboratory at Rutgers. She is one of the leading criminologists studying substance use and its association with crime and violence. Her work has focused on the connection between alcohol and drug use and criminal offending in the context of a life course development perspective. She has identified several commonalities in theoretical predictors of substance use and delinquency. And in addition, her work on temporal associations and reciprocity, lost my place. Her work on temporal associations and reciprocity of substance use and offending at different stages of the life, different life stages is important. Her finding that the strength of the association between heavy drinking and violence differs as a function of life course stage, and that race and gender moderates these associations have been important contributions to the field. And her work has laid the groundwork for other researchers. She has been involved in developing, implementing, and evaluating prevention programs for college students. And her contributions to scholarship have been recognized with various and many awards. And somehow I've got my pages all mixed up here, so I can't say all of the things that she has done for the field. But overall, she is considered to be the go-to scholar on substance use and crime. And sorry I messed that all up. I'm going to straighten out the pages before I go on. Okay, here we go. Our next award is the Herbert Block Award. And this year's, the award, it goes to Francis T. Cullen. The award recognizes outstanding service contributions to ASC and to the professional interest of criminology. Frank is a distinguished research professor emeritus and senior research associate in the School of Criminal Justice at the University of Cincinnati. His contributions to scholarship include a variety of assessments of criminological theory that all of us have had to use, and discussions of the value of a rehabilitation approach over a punitive approach to offending. He has also explored topics such as the prosecution of corporations, the sexual victimization of college students, race and crime, and public policy. Among his major service contributions are helping his Cincinnati colleagues establish a very well-respected PhD program, serving as the president of both the American Society of Criminology and the Academy of Criminal Justice Sciences. He's contributed to editorial boards, scientific advisory boards, both in the United States and abroad. He helped to revive the Oral History Project for ASC. He assisted Frida Adler in sustaining the Advances in Criminological Theory series. In general, Frank has a long and distinguished history of serving the society and the profession. He is indeed deserving of the Block Award. The August Vollmer Award recognizes individuals whose scholarship or professional activity has made outstanding contributions to justice or to the treatment or prevention of criminal or delinquent behavior. This year's recipient is Dr. Denise Gottfredson, who has been steadfast She is a professor of criminal justice and criminology at the University of Maryland. The focus of much of her research has been on the effects of the school environment on youth behavior. For example, her early work focused on delinquency prevention in schools and included evaluations of efforts aimed at altering school and classroom environments to reduce student misbehavior in Charleston, South Carolina schools, and an organization development intervention intended to reduce violence and related problem behavior in Baltimore City schools. A signature feature of Denise's approach has been developing effective collaborations with practitioners in an effort to apply rigorous research tools in producing knowledge that is not only valuable academically, but that is directly useful. Thus, she has worked closely with schools and school administrators, community-based organizations, criminal justice organizations, state government, and other public agencies to carry out the best possible studies possible to promote the most effective prevention practices. She is currently implementing a randomized trial of a gang prevention program in Philadelphia and a study of the effects of school resource officers in Florida and California. It seems to me, for all the work that she has accumulated, she is certainly a very fitting choice for the August Vollmer Award. The Thorsten, Celine, and Sheldon and Eleanor Glick Award honors colleagues who make outstanding contributions to scholarship that considers problems of crime and justice as they are manifest outside of the United States, internationally or comparatively. This year's recipient is Leticia Paoli. And she is professor of criminology at the University of Leuven in Belgium. She is an authority on organized crime and has published widely on illegal and semi-illegal markets and related control policies. Notably, she has conducted research on drug markets in Frankfurt and Milan, on emerging illegal drug markets in Russia, which involve collecting primary data in 9 different Russian cities, the world heroin market with attention to the effectiveness of supply-side interventions, and she has conducted research on old and new forms of organized and serious crimes in Belgium and elsewhere. She is now embarking on a project on the harms of crime, which should provide a firm analytical foundation for deciding whether a criminal activity merits prioritization or even criminalization. Congratulations on all of your work. And finally, I am pleased to present the Sutherland Award to my friend Ross Matsueda in absentia. And so, John, would you come and join me? Thank you. The Sutherland Award is given to recognize outstanding contributions to theory or research in criminology on the etiology of criminal and deviant behavior, the criminal justice system, corrections, law, or justice. Ross certainly fits the bill on this. He has made extremely important contributions to the study of crime and deviance through his symbolic interactionist reformulation of differential association theory, differential social control theory, and empirical analyses of delinquency and other topics, including criminal careers, criminal desistance, neighborhood crime, and perceptions of criminal injustice. He has advanced statistical analysis in the field through early contributions using structural equation modeling and more recent work using Bayesian techniques of analysis. His work has received widespread attention through publications in top journals and elsewhere. And this is certainly not the first award that he's received from the ASC for the work. He was elected a fellow in 2005 and has served as vice president of the association, he's received the Outstanding Article Award and a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Division on People of Color in Crime. His list of accomplishments is the basis for Ross being the recipient of the Sutherland Award this year. However, it does not fully capture the intellectual contribution that he makes to the field. When Ross is in the room, he is always thinking, questioning, and pushing us by asking the insightful question that needs to be addressed. As such, I have often counted on him to wrap things up in a room of scholars so that we know what has been done that is important and what we need to do next. Thus, he brings tremendous insight that contributes on its own, but also pushes others. I'm sure that many of us were very much looking forward to what he would say today to stimulate us and push our thinking ahead. But we, of course, will have to wait to hear what he would have said in the paper that he's titled Toward an Analytical Criminology, Decision-Making, Micro to Macro Transitions, and Public Policy.
Well, I'm really pleased to be able to bring you remarks from Ross Matsueda and his enthusiasm and excitement and gratitude to receive this award that he holds in such high esteem, the preeminent award of our society. As unaccustomed as I am to trying to channel another person's voice, I will nonetheless try to convey Ross's thoughts, and let me read you what he writes. Ross says, I'm deeply honored to accept the Edwin H. Sutherland Award. I'm particularly honored that the award is being presented by President Ruth Peterson, a truly great scholar and a former recipient of the Sutherland Award herself. For me, being selected as a recipient of the Sutherland Award is the highest honor I can imagine. Please accept my sincere regrets for not being here. I have been very ill, underwent a surgical procedure, and was only recently released from the hospital. Although I actually enjoy discussing my medical issues in great detail, as you recall, yes, Ross says, I realize that is a little weird. And he says, I will refrain from boring you with the gory details. This award means so much to me for many reasons. The ASC has become my intellectual home, and I have a great respect for the important work that it does in bringing theory and research to bear on crime and justice. And the Sutherland Award acknowledges exactly that, contributions to criminological theory and research. Our scholarly work on crime and justice, and what John Laub has called translational criminology, is even more important given the political upheaval from the recent election and the likely direction of the incoming administration. So much of criminal justice policy has been either uninformed by scholarly research or has been misconstrued in terms of the results of this research, with results that have often been a disaster. Witness the war on drugs and mass incarceration. So we must double down on our mission. The previous recipients of the Sutherland Award represent an amazing group, scholars whose research has made monumental contributions to social scientific knowledge, and I am humbled to be a member of this group, particularly given that there are so many other scholars who are so richly deserving. Finally, the Sutherland Award is particularly special for me because Sutherland was my intellectual grandfather. I was one of Donald Cressy's last students, who in turn was one of Sutherland's last students. Sutherland, one of the greatest criminologists in history, had a tremendous influence on my work and my thinking. Perhaps more importantly than his famous work on white-collar crime, professional theft, and differential association theory, he was a great social scientist. Even in those instances when I felt he was incorrect, his writings forced me to think deeply, to put myself in his position, and to be certain he was wrong. Don Cressy was an incredible mentor and friend who began mentoring when I was only a junior in college. Turns out I wasn't the only one. He had also mentored as undergraduates the likes of John Irwin, Aaron Sickerell, Sheldon Messenger, John Kitsusi, and Calvin Morrill. Cressy always maintained that among his many awards and honors, the Sutherland Award was the one he was most proud of, and I feel the same way. I owe an intellectual and personal debt to a number of others who have formed an intellectual community for me. There are too many to mention by name, but just to single out a few: Ruth Peterson, Rob Sampson, Bill Bealby, Alina Aroseva, Irving Peliavin, Rosemary Gartner, David Huizinga, Jim Short, Daniel Nagin, Sean Bushway, Bob Crutchfield, Alex Picaro, Laurie Crivo, Bill McCarthy, Winona Ryman Richmond, Maria Velez, and Ramiro Martinez. A major part of my intellectual community has been the Racial Democracy, Crime, and Justice Network, a remarkable organization led by Jody Miller and Rod Brunson, and of which I am proud to be a part. As a senior scholar, I'm supposed to be a mentor to young scholars of color, but to be honest, I have been equally mentored myself by the junior and senior members of the network. I share this award with current and former graduate students who have worked with me over the years. Throughout my career, my scholarly research has been a joint effort with some really remarkable graduate students who have made critical contributions at every turn. Many of them have gone on to become leaders of the field, and I'm honored to have played a small role in their successes. I'd like to acknowledge in particular former students Karen Heimer, Chris Eugen, Rosemary Gartner, Mike Palakowski, Hiroshi Tsutomi, Dawn Bartosh, Brad Wright, Rod Ingen, Kathy Anderson, Charis Rubin, Derek Krieger, Christopher Lyons, Kevin Drekulich, Richard Callahan, and Blaine Robbins, and a group of terrific current students: Maria Georgievna, Antoinette Berry, Lindsay Beach, Chuck Lanford, John Leverso, Kate O'Neill, and Xiang Dong, and two students in statistics with whom we are working, Brian Martin and June Huang. Although receiving this award is one of my biggest thrills, not being with you to accept the award and give the Sutherland Address is one of my biggest disappointments. Although I cannot deliver the address, I am grateful that you will be able to read it when it is published in written form. My Sutherland Address is on a topic that Sutherland and Cressy themselves wrote about, the micro-macro problem in criminology. My thesis, however, implies that Sutherland and Cressy had oversimplified the issue and were incorrect in their conclusions. I'm confident that they would each agree with me, especially given that they recognize the importance of following scientific truth rather than blindly adhering to empirically falsified conclusions that persist as nothing more than pseudoscientific ideology. Thank you very much. I hope you will have a great conference, and I look forward to seeing you next year in Philadelphia. So I'm deeply honored to accept this award for Ross Metz-Wada, and I promise that I will not steal the plaque. I will deliver it safely to Ross as he is on the mend in California. Thank you.
Guess what? We're done, and you're free to mill about and enjoy one another. Thank you.